Ayer Council on Aging Board Meeting, Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Ayer Senior Center. This meeting will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting/hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for an in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom meeting ID number 375-414-6055 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager, atm@ayer.ma.us or at 978-772-8220, extension 100 prior to the meeting. I'll take a motion to call the meeting to order.
I move that the Council on Aging Board of Directors meeting come to order.
I second it.
All in favor, Cheryl?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
Marge?
Aye.
And Mary? Aye. All right. So we're going to look at, any have changes, amendments, or approving the agenda? No? No? Marge?
No, I haven't seen the minutes for the 14th,
They haven't, I didn't
Yeah.
do them this.
so that needs to be
Those will
amended.
be, yep, those will be amended. We'll move those to the next one. Any other changes?
With that amendment, I.
Anything, Cheryl? All right. Do you have any changes?
No? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes,
I have new earphones in to kind of reduce the background noise from my dog. So I wasn't sure if you could hear me or just Teddy, so I apologize.
We can.
Perfect.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda with that March 14th amendment.
second.
All in favor? Cheryl?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
Marge?
Aye.
Mary is aye. All right. So we have the September 9th, 2025 minutes. Does anybody have any comments or questions or changes to them? I didn't see anything in them.
No, my only comment and I made to Dennis was, do we need to put all the directors, if we're turning in the director's report? Does Dennis need to?
So there's multiple ways to accomplish that. Packet information is not required as part of the open meeting law. It's included as a courtesy to those that are attending the meeting. So I think the most thorough thing is to include any attachments in with the minutes.
As an attachment, as an attachment.
Well,
I mean, I am fine with, I would prefer frankly just to see attached minutes as being a summary of that. The concern I have, well, right now as the website is being redone, how those directors' report minutes are attached or included or where they are placed on the website seems a bit unclear right now.
so I think if you had, pardon the visual, like if this piece of paper is the minutes and you've signed it, and then this is the director's report and you give it to the town clerk like this, when she scans it in, it will become essentially the next page of the minutes. It's like an addendum to the minutes.
So it's all.
Just seems like a lot of work for you.
Yeah, and I think it's helpful for the public at large to be able to see so, all right.
I agree. So, well, before a meeting, if it's submitted, if information is submitted with the agenda for the packet, it should appear on the calendar page.
Yes, because.
And then it can, but then it kind of is only accessible there. It's not really linked to someplace else. But then for the longevity of things for that table that is agenda, minutes, media, if it's just a part of the minute document as just an additional page, then I think it will go into like historical.
Yeah, but just as a heads up, you don't have to print it again. You could just sort of attach what Katie sends and send it to minutes at.
Yeah,
But you have to go there with
I
a
have to go
sign.
there.
He has to go there with the sign.
Because she has to scan it and she has to have the original with my signature.
That's what
So you can't electronically submit, you cannot electronically submit the minutes, you have to go to.
Okay.
That's what I have been doing before. And
You
it
can
was-
electronically submit minutes as long as they're signed. So if you can sign them and scan them and email it to agenda, then they can print them and they actually don't even have to print them. They can just put them right up on the website. You don't have to come down in person.
Okay, so that.
Okay, so I would sign it and then scan it at home.
Yep. And then they'll stamp them and then they'll put them up on the website.
Okay,
All right,
You don't have to come down.
That works.
thanks, Carly.
Sure.
We'll clear that up.
but the town clerk's office would miss me.
Oh, Dennis, we all would.
No, the love is just just overflows.
All right, so getting back to the September 9th minutes,
Yeah,
are there any changes to the minutes? Cheryl, do you have any?
I do not. No.
Dennis, I presume you don't since you created them. Mark, you okay with them?
that was my only
Okay.
comment about it. I'm good.
All right. So I'll accept a motion to accept the September 9th, 2025 minutes.
I make a motion, we accept the September 9th, 2025 minutes.
I would
Second.
second.
All
Sorry.
in favor? No, that's all right.
Aye.
All right, Cheryl. Dennis?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Mark.
I know,
And Mary's aye. All right. Public input. Is there any public input? No. Hearing none, we'll move on to the next topic, which is the self-assessment priority review.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can get that.
All right, can everybody see that document?
Perfect.
Or is that small?
If you blow up the,
To what pages?
that wasn't in there. That was a separate
Okay.
document I sent.
Okay.
When did I sent that about 2 weeks ago. I believe.
Then I have to.
There we go, okay. So I'm gonna make this. All right, Cheryl, can you see that okay?
Liz, I did not
Um,
see that.
I'm just going to take myself off camera and try to get my head down closer so I can see them because my vision is very bad. So, but I had these up in the background. So that's better.
Okay,
Much better.
okay.
All right. So all I did was went through and took the listing that or assigning to somebody. sort of, whether it's they take it on and do it because whether it's not they're a resource for Katie or a help to Katie, if it's Katie's name, it's sort of like a board member, you know, kind of attached to it in some way, shape or form. Since it is sort of it's the center, I got both sides, long edges in the middle, actually looking out. So I'm sort of looking for that sort of continuity with the board member being sort of assigned to a particular item. And, you know, keeping track of where it goes, where it is and where it sort of stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because not everything is gonna belong to Katie.
Right. This was the part of the evaluation I was really excited about, was like getting to this end list of things that essentially we were deficient in, or not, you know, that we weren't up to where we wanted to be for our accreditation standards. And then we can take the next 2 years really working on these items.
So that
But
has to be done by next month, Katie. Didn't you know
next
that?
month, okay, let me get on that.
No,
You know, my spare time.
Well, I guess, and that's another thing we can talk about. How long does everybody think it should take for us to accomplish these items? I mean, is everybody good with? Is it a year time frame? Is it 18 months? Is it 24 months?
Well,
6 years, 6 months.
What do you think, Cheryl?
I think the longer it goes out, the easier it will be to kind of procrastinate. Would it be helpful if we did some of them like in 3 months, some of them in 6 months, or is that unreasonable?
I suppose that's gonna depend on how we pick out what the primary.
Okay.
You know, and there could be different, and that's sort of why I'm, you know, to be honest with you, that's sort of why I'm putting that board member. You know, if they own it or if they're sort of gonna be that resource to it so that it doesn't get derailed. Because you're right, the longer we go out, the more opportunity it has to get derailed.
Can I make a suggestion that the
Absolutely.
highest priority things we might label as 0 to 3 months, and then some
Yep.
3 to 6 months, and then some 6+, because that gives you like 3 categories.
Yep.
And then will help.
So as we're going through and we're looking at things. I mean, you know, we should be looking at these, it should be a topic every month to sort of say, hey, oh, I've run into a snag, it's gonna push.
Mm-hmm.
So. You know, so. So. When we're talking about this, we can't say that everything is a high priority.
I mean, I think for me, part of it is going forward, and we are, so as I understand it, we are not submitting this yet for review by the third party that would provide that.
No, so you, to anybody, it was more for our own internal.
Yep, yeah.
So the next time we go through it would be the we would look to submit.
Parts of this would become, if any, would become quickly outdated once we move into the new building, and which would remain relevant after the move to the new building. And do we want to look at that and those categories or those standards, which would be most substantially affected by the new building, just being physically present and, you know, all the rest of it. We defer those, and those that we would say.
Absolutely, I think that's, yes, you know, like anything that's that physical constraint, actually, we can't do anything about it even in a 24-month period.
Yeah.
So that would be and that might be, so maybe we call it a new building.
But I think you have to go on, we're here now. And then build on where we will be when we move into the new place.
For some of the things, but if it is one of the physical constraints that we
Well-
can't do something about,
The mission statement,
oh, that can be done,
Can be
absolutely,
done.
absolutely.
so can,
The goals, objectives, and action plans
Can-
can as well.
right,
A marketing plan can be done.
right,
Yep, websites,
So can-
organization chart, so those types of things are.
right,
Even policies and procedures, what we have today,
can be.
and those will be built on.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't remember if
Absolutely.
it was specific to
Mm-hmm.
the new building, but that was a great point. that
Like an
Dennis-
emergency management plan, that's a good
Yeah.
example of something
It
that
changes.
it would be totally different in a new building.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that would be up to you guys to decide whether it's of crucial priority enough. Like these will be your priorities,
Yeah.
right? And you will advise me on these priorities.
Yeah.
Whether or not you think something like that is critical to be done now to
Mhm.
see us through the next year and a half, or,
Right.
whether it can wait.
And so will volunteer management. That's going to be totally different up there than down here,
But it still needs to be.
but it still needs to be addressed.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. So
Yeah.
do we want to just start going through these with those?
I think so.
things in mind?
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
that's the
so.
best way to do it.
Yeah. I don't mind working with somebody or doing, you know me, I like the policies and procedures.
Well, do we want to go
I
through
like
them
that.
one
Yeah,
by one?
Yeah, I like the,
Yeah, I think
I
so.
like the mission statement, I like the goals and objectives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right, so the senior center
yeah,
mission statement.
yeah.
So I think having a mission statement is important. We talked about this last time, but I had a mission statement. You guys kind of took it and then you modified it to make it your own. But for space saving purposes, I don't have it. I don't have my old version in the newsletter.
Yep.
Because it's fairly close to yours and because I just didn't have space for it. So, but I'm happy to add it back in if you guys put that as a priority.
So it's a senior center mission statement. So, I mean, in some respects is. So the conversation becomes, in some respects, and then maybe that's a conversation we have at a part of the senior center mission statement. Is it the same? Should that and the boards be the same? Should they be closely aligned?
In my view, they have to be
Closely
pretty much identical. That is, if the senior center, that is, if Katie's mission statement for the center and her advisory board, citizens input board is different. I don't think that that's palatable for the.
But like, for example, the old version of the mission statement for the senior center used to say, the senior center is a social services department. Whereas your mission statement, and I apologize, that you have the newsletter right in front of us, doesn't say social services department, because you're not a social services department. You guys are an advisory board.
Right. No, but I think that we should. I think it would be having. I think that we collectively, that is the senior center and its advisory board, have to be publicly seen as being substantially on the same page.
The overall messaging,
And that if our mission statements diverge or somehow or other are seen as, working at cross purposes or contradictory or whatever, it would not reflect well on the board, certainly. That is, I would not want to write a mission statement that had different priorities and different goals than the one that you were working towards, or else I would be compelled to step down off the board.
Well, agreed.
Could we combine them? Could we combine them?
So they
Senior
used to
Center
be combined.
and Board of Directive combined mission statement, and explain in the mission statement itself that the board informs and advises the senior center, but the goals are coherent.
I think you could certainly do that. I'm going to say part of the way we did it before, but with the full disclosure of that does not need to inform how we do it now. Just because we did it. Like, a mission statement is really supposed to be 1 or 2 sentences, and the description of the department as a mission statement much longer than that, make
Mhm.
at least one of them short and sweet, which that's not important to me. I don't value the length of it versus, so I think they could be one statement. I think that's up to you guys. What do you want to do?
Let's go one statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it.
I think one statement is great.
The air.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants
I'm
to
sorry.
own that? Nope, I didn't. I'm not trying
I would
cut
be
you off,
happy to
Cheryl.
work on it with. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking I would be happy to work on that with whomever. I think where it is, if we're talking about combining it with the senior center, I think Katie, it would be great to work on it with you.
Great.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Marge, you looked like you were trying to say something.
Well, I had started,
Oh, sorry.
I really think if we went back to the original, Katie, and it said the Air Council on Aging, change whatever, was established to act as an advisory and advocacy board for the Air Senior Center and its staff. And then we left in your sentence, our goal at the Air COA is to empower individuals and families as they make life choices in support of aging with dignity, health, and personal fulfillment.
Mhm.
That's where you
Right.
took
Yep.
off. And then we went back and said, we support the work of the senior center
Mhm.
as it endeavors to provide a variety of programs and services to bring together our senior citizens in a safe and nourishing environment. I think if you continued one more sentence and we separated them,
Mhm.
okay, but that's gonna be that should be part of the priority, who is it's going to discuss and make that change.
Yeah.
So we'll do Cheryl and Katie
And Marge, you said you wanted to
and
be part
Marge.
of
You
that?
want to be on that too?
I had started before Cheryl did that.
I think you can do, I think.
But
you
there's no,
do
we can have
people.
three.
Yeah.
We can have three. All right,
And
and
then-
then what's the priority on that? Is that a high priority?
I think it should be, because the more
Okay,
it gets
that's fine.
out.
All right, so moving on to the next one, goals, objectives, and action plans.
Could you
All right, so,
be more specific on that?
well, that was what was out of there, so I believe it's goals for the board. That what we had, what the objective of it is, and how we put together an action plan to get there. In some respects, doing this, am I misspeaking, Katie? In some respects, this is a goal, and the action plan is to put these items into place and to track them. I didn't bring that.
Yeah, I don't see my note on that, but really your goals, objectives, and action plans are your how-to steps to make your mission a reality. So the mission has to come first. So I would put the other one as like, if the first one's high priority, then
That'll be a
it
medium
has to come
priority.
next. So it's got to come medium in terms of
That's
time frame.
Goals, objectives, and action. All right. Quarterly and semi-annual report. So is that something that can be, those numbers.
So was that related to,
I think it was just sort of the board seeing them and those types of things, especially the financials is my recollection.
but that is separate down here. You guys had a budget review every 6 months.
Yeah.
So
It might, is it the same?
I didn't have that note in my, because you get a director's report every month and you get an annual town meeting report. So what did you want to see quarterly
Oh, so that maybe
and semi-annually?
maybe that's done. Oh, look at that, we're good.
Yeah, I think we had said it would be every 6 months.
Yeah, so. And I think that was part of it too. So I think actually,
Was that the trend analysis you wanted to see? Or was that, I'm just trying to remember what you were
I was
referring to.
looking at whatever. I just pulled off whatever notes we had. I didn't have. It's essential that the center has an annual report.
Well,
That's the
Right.
town's annual.
And we did the
report,
time
right?
limit one,
Mhm.
but it was on my list, should it not be?
No.
Um,
We did talk
form
about
the
it.
basis for progress reports to governing and advisory boards at least quarterly.
I'm sorry, read that again?
It's in your book, it's D
Mhm.
on number 5. Form the basis for progress reports to governing and advisory boards at least quarterly.
So, I mean, you're getting a monthly report
Yeah.
from me.
Right.
So if there was something different you wanted to see in it, we could certainly fold that underneath there. Otherwise, I would say we're really,
I think we're doing it. I don't know how.
I don't know why I had we voted quarterly, but I think that's,
All right, so that's done. Look at that.
Yep.
Aren't we good?
yep.
Locating and identifying underserved and socially isolated seniors. That's a high priority, but I think it's probably gonna take some work, so I'd almost say that's gonna be 6 months out. Or is it,
I think you're really starting to do that with help with the how do we say this? Working, I know with the libraries and that, with the mail, the bookshelf, and then they have a teach and they can come back to you. I know it's crossing over, but they are doing it.
right.
But if they find, they can come to you.
Well, I think that was one of the primary objectives in a social worker was, you
I
know.
was trying to find it and I didn't get them, yeah.
But
Yeah, that would have been a clear-cut case of where the social worker would have been able to kind of substantially aid and assist and help there.
And I look at that as more like we're serving the people who come to us
That's right.
versus
Mm.
going out and finding more. I mean,
To
that's
see if there is like that underserved.
right.
Right.
And that was one of the
But
criteria
it's
for
still word of mouth is big.
from a capacity perspective, I would probably say I'm not sure I have it right now for that,
Yeah.
to put that as a high priority because, you know, I'm stretching into like so many roles right now with the building. And then my other staff are filling in the gaps for me. So to this reaching out to socially isolated seniors would be a multi-hour a week effort that would be
Yeah.
largely spearheaded by the outreach
Yeah.
coordinator. You know, in collaboration with me, but I just am not sure that we have the organizational capacity for it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to advise that it's a very high priority, then you could advise that, but I'm just not, just to be honest, I'm not sure I have the capacity for that right now.
To be honest with you, I kind of like to go through the list, get through the list and take it and, you know, then sort of say, all right, is that really sort of doable? You know,
May I say something?
absolutely.
Getting back to the quarterly and semi-annual reports, we kind of jumped ahead. Is there any reason why Katie has to prepare a monthly, and why couldn't it be a quarterly report from the director?
So I have to prepare a monthly department head report that gets
Okay.
included in the packet for the select board, and then it gets posted. There's a
Okay.
whole area of
So there's
the
a
website
procedural
for that. Yeah,
a procedural need. So in keeping with the fact that you're wearing so many hats during this transition phase, and where it does say quarterly and semi-annual, could this board of directors, the Council on Aging board, could we get by with a quarterly summary as opposed to the detailed monthly? And would that make it any less burdensome? Okay.
Well,
I actually see it as the same thing. So
Okay.
I prepare the director's report for you guys for the second Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
And then I might make minor edits to it if there's something huge that came up in discussion here, but otherwise that's the exact same report that I submit by the 20th of the month. So just essentially a week later, to town hall. So it's one report that's serving dual purposes.
All right.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to ask that question before we moved on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Back to
Sure, no,
the,
you're good.
back to the next
Good
item.
question. But I actually, and also along with that, I think that marketing plan with goals assessment, that's probably 6 months out as well too, to go along with that socially underserving.
Yep.
Not to say you can't start to be thinking about it, but I think that's actually.
Yeah, so, and I think there's a lot of components of a marketing plan. It's not that I'm not marketing, it's that it's not in a marketing plan format. It's not formalized. So if having a marketing plan is a priority, if someone wanted to sit down and interview me about what it is that I'm doing to market our services and programs, then I think someone could say, that's the data I needed to create a plan. But
I think that along with that also goes the assessment of the techniques, what's working, what's not working. And you're probably doing maybe more self unconsciously, you know.
well, in terms of evaluation is a totally different,
It's all part of the plan.
right? But evaluation is a much more formal process.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing much formal evaluation at all. So I wouldn't say that about the evaluation. I would say that about the marketing plan.
I think in terms of the marketing, is it fair to say that you do not currently have a significant amount of excess capacity? There isn't additional room or staff or programming space available to expand your offerings as currently constituted.
I think there's wiggle room in it, but again, capacity for it. Like we are obviously limited by what we can do here.
Right, so the point being that if you had a very successful marketing plan,
Mhm.
you would not be able to serve all those needs that came flooding in simply because you wouldn't have the capacity to do
Right.
so. So you would have created marketing demand for a service you can't offer.
But that's actually, like, it's a little bit of semantics here, but a marketing plan is a document that describes what you're doing to market your things. So if you're not doing a lot of marketing, if you're doing a little marketing, or you're doing a lot of marketing, there's still a plan. It's like the outline, the bones. And so it doesn't imply that I have to do more marketing. Is there a formalized document that says, distribution of information happens via the newsletter, via social media, via postcards, via table tents, via whatever. And so these are the tools that are used. And then this is the frequency with which each of those. So it's just a formal document that puts it all in.
So we are not implying that we need to market more or market differently.
Right.
We simply want a description of how you are currently marketing.
Yes, and there's like a template for what marketing plans should include. So do I have a document, a sort of standardized document that marketers use in order to describe all the ways in which they're marketing?
And the answer to that is no.
I don't have it because I just do it. I don't write about doing it. But if you guys wanted to create a marketing plan that describes what I'm already doing, that might include priorities for future expansion, you can certainly do that.
I would give it a low priority and wait for the build on that one. I'll do that.
All right.
So I'm just thinking of time here because you also wanted to get to the website review, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to be?
Well, I think that's a starting discussion.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's what I was, I guess, trying to figure out or whatnot.
So
I think that's. I'd be okay with 6 months on that one.
Yeah.
Training and or intern opportunities. I guess, is that a higher priority, more of a medium type of thing, because you've got identifying what they are, because school would start in September, so you'd want to know what's available? Or is it?
I would personally put that as a low priority
Okay.
because I don't have a lot of activities for someone, like unless it was a social services internship or training opportunity, in which case I got lots of opportunity for that. Otherwise, that's something I would defer and begin
Perfect.
building once new programs are in place at the new building.
Perfect. Website policy and procedures.
That is
That's-
on my, oh, so that one kind of goes with the, doesn't it go with another one? It was on policies and procedures on here twice. Yeah, three, yes, website policies and procedures and policies and procedures for the center. I think that was really the same thing. It was updating policies and procedures, and then Marge had at one point said it should be on the website. Versus a website policies and procedures.
I think it should, because then people who are computer.
No, I agree.
Look at it at home.
Right, agreed. I'm just clarifying that it doesn't mean what is
Okay.
the policy and procedure for using the website.
Mhm.
It's policies
Yeah.
and procedures
That would
being
be the
on the
town.
website.
So I can take off number 10?
I don't have the lines numbered, but.
That would be
every-
policies. and
Oh, sorry, yes,
procedures.
so,
So eliminate.
so number 8 is,
I'll leave we'll leave policies and procedures, or I'll work it around, so it's policies, procedures. And I'll put website in parentheses with everything else. All right.
okay,
So
So,
we eliminated one.
so the policies and procedures of the senior center should be posted to the website in some form or.
Yeah.
correct. I think lines 8 and line in 10 are kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the website policy and procedures is a town policy,
Yeah.
so I don't know why that would have been on our list.
Yeah.
I think it was just a kind of a typo. All right,
Organizational chart.
I mean, I can make one of those, or one of you guys could make one of those, it wouldn't take that long, there's not that many of us.
Like, what is that?
So an org chart is like, little rectangles and lines that show visually the structure of an organization. So it would show, like the town manager and then a line and then me, and then it would branch out like a family tree. Think of it kind of like a
Okay.
family tree, and then
Yeah.
it would branch out and it would show, the nutrition coordinator, the outreach coordinator, the van coordinator, and the van coordinator. And so people who are on the same, just like a family tree, people who are on sort of the same line or the same branch are parallel people, and then up and down goes up and down the organizational structure.
Where would you put it?
I think it was just a requirement of the accreditation. It could go on the website. It could be just something that's here. I mean, like in the volunteer manual would be a decent place to put it. I mean, I just have everybody's picture and their name, but it could certainly be more formal looking as an org chart. It was just one of the things that was required.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, sometimes too, just when you have more staff, we
Right.
might have different hierarchies of.
I'm just saying,
staff, those types
because
of things.
I know most of the people here don't know a lot of the town employees.
right.
Yeah,
This isn't town, this would just be for the center.
Okay, but I'm just saying, so I think, in a way, it's a good idea.
Right.
We, if I may, we have an org chart I can show you of our town employees. It's in the
Yeah.
annual budget book every year. If you guys want to see that, I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
No, I think it's a great idea. I think it's. And I don't know if it would be just for the center. There's a lot
Yes.
of people who
Yeah.
walk in.
But
The
if there's-
first question we get at the desk.
Harley, you should be able to share. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, the first question we get at the desk, a
Mhm.
lot of times, is, do you have So.
An org chart?
No, not that, but do you have someone to help with this? Do you have a not director, but, you know,
Right. Okay.
outreach?
So are
So
you,
maybe we could put something on the wall.
so are you saying that you think the volunteers don't know who is responsible?
No,
for
no,
what
but
at
I'm
the center?
saying maybe when people walk in, if they saw
If they say, well,
a poster or a paper with pictures of the director, the outreach,
so you
so the
think,
van drivers.
so you think that the organizational chart should be posted on the wall with the pictures of the people in the various positions?
At the center. Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. Because we do
You
get
guys see
asked.
my screen?
I can.
Yes.
I think it's a good idea for the center.
Okay. I'm making,
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
The kids doing their fourth grade project for family tree.
right. So an org chart has a very particular look to it.
Yeah.
So, we can certainly add pictures next to it, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it will become clear when Carly pulls it up.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So as part of this review, we will create, or Katie
There you
will
go.
create.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I've seen that one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's.
But for our purposes, if we could just try to move this forward, for our purposes, we want a senior center organizational chart, which will be publicly posted.
So let me take your name, your phone number.
All right, that's Kristen and.
No, I think that might help
Or
people
maybe
when
it
they
knows that.
walk in and they kind of, they're new to the center too.
Right. So who wants to take over that? Who wants to spearhead that?
I'll take it.
Okay. And I'm certainly happy to help with that because I have some of that information.
Thank you, Carly.
Thanks, Carly. So we're gonna do that. Volunteer management. That's all I have. Is job description
I can
supposed to
help.
be underneath that?
So volunteer management is the volunteer manual and you're just waiting on me to finalize that. So put that one as a high priority.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do you want to work with anybody on that, or are you good to do that one on your own, Katie?
I just have to finish.
How
it.
have you been with getting new or recruiting new, or have there been additional volunteers coming in since the building and all the rest? I mean, do you feel like there's been more volunteer activity than previously or not? Or?
No, not really. I picked up one or two new volunteers. Volunteers are, like, I don't know how to say this, but there's a lot of discussion about it, and then the actual yield from it is it's not a one-to-one, like someone says they want to volunteer, and then suddenly it's a good fit or a good whatever, like, so there's a lot of back and forth that goes with that. So I'm in conversation with probably 5 people right now about potential volunteer opportunities, but sometimes they just disappear. So it happens. But I wouldn't say there's been a tremendous upswing. There's always a couple of irons in the fire, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't know what
Do you-
job description.
Do you need assistance on that? I think it was supposed to go under the volunteer management. I think there's supposed to be some additional lines underneath that, like the manual and then job descriptions. Because you have job descriptions in the book, right? You were also waiting on the ones for. Were you?
Oh, was that
Yeah.
that was related to having job descriptions after the latest union contract. So that is, I mean, I don't know that we have to put a priority on that because we're not in charge of that, but whenever
Okay.
that new union contract is released, then
Okay.
we can check that off.
All right.
So I'm just gonna write that pending union contract.
All right.
But yes, it's good to have accurate, updated job descriptions for each staff member.
All right, plan for evaluating new programs. And it's an evaluation plan for programs and event, notes, users, special events, and weekly events.
And by new, you mean new as of starting now, like anything that's created from
Well, I think,
now henceforth, or?
I think was part of also too is like, correct me if I paraphrase this wrong, but Katie does it now sort of manually if she runs a program that was successful, that wasn't successful. You know, what sort of drives that success? So what you're looking for is to say, hey, we just ran this new exercise class. You know, everybody wanted it, nobody came. You know, I mean, that's simplistic, but sort of like that type of
So,
stuff.
so success is well attended is successful and not well attended is not, or?
No, so that's the
Classification.
thing. I'm sorry, Cheryl, did you want to
Sarah,
add?
did you want something?
One of the measures you would look for is it cost effective? Is a satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 10, an 8 or a 2, so that you could decide whether it's worthy of continuing it. No.
So right now, I'm setting the criteria for whether a program happens or doesn't happen, whether it continues or doesn't continue. And it's based on my judgment. So there is no formal evaluation plan set on a set of statistics. So, I mean, I am deciding whether something is cost effective. But if you asked me, what is your criteria for cost effectiveness? I would tell you it's not defined, right?
Sure.
So
Are we
a formal
overthinking this?
evaluation procedure.
Does it need to be formalized? Are we overthinking it? Are we making it more complicated than it needs to be? Can we defer to the executive director's opinion?
Well, but yes, you could. That's what we're doing right now. But the idea was for accreditation, there has to be more formal evaluation.
So they want
criteria.
something more formal.
So, like, as an example, some senior centers would say only 5 people signed up for that art class, and therefore I'm not going to run it. I'm going to cancel it because you could have up to 15 people in it, and therefore it was only 1/3 full. Versus I would say, for those 5 people, the impact of that program justifies the full cost. It would have been a steal and a bargain and a super cost efficient program had 15 people shown up. But the value that I place on it is high enough to keep doing it.
And you derive that sense of it was very valuable for the people who attended. That is, you got a lot of bang for your buck for those 5 folks.
Right.
Just on your sense of their needs and what you saw occurring as a result.
Correct. Based on if it's a person who doesn't come in for any other purposes, and therefore this program is increasing my reach, that's of value to me. If it's something that someone changes the way they interact with others or is, a particularly joyful or meaningful experience, right? Like I'm looking at that. It's very qualitative because I've never written it down on a piece of paper for you guys, but formalizing it would do that.
Do we want to try to formalize that and come up with a tool to measure that impact or
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I know you've been trying to.
Yeah, no, the problem is with accreditations. The people who come to accredit you are going to talk to the general population and get not only the board and the town, but the general population and find out what they think.
Right,
And so you want to please everybody on the programs.
So I don't think you'll ever please everybody on the programs. The idea is that if you have a formal set of criteria for evaluating them, if someone stops at the lunch table and says, do you like the arts program? It's okay if you say, no, I don't like the arts program, but I have got a formal evaluation procedure that I've gone through, and it's a highly rated program by its participants. The director comments this, that, and the other, because there's a formal evaluation plan, then it puts each of those pieces into a larger puzzle. So it's similar to the marketing plan in that there is no formal structure for it. But also,
And it's
there
on-
is no widespread documented.
Right, and as,
Procedure happening.
and as long as that plan is followed,
Mhm.
or any exception to that
Mhm.
plan is noted as why, then you're fitting that criteria and everybody.
I'm not
knows that.
arguing that, I'm just saying, because I think you're hitting all the things I know you have to hit every month.
So,
It's needed, I don't, but I think you're in talking to other people. I just know they have parents, I'm saying when I was in school,
Mhm.
there's a wide group.
Right, right. And that's part of why I've lobbied for a larger senior center,
Right.
is that there are so many different pockets of
Mhm.
people with different interests and different
Mhm.
needs. And so in order to be able to offer programming that suits them all, you have to have more space. I would suggest that we put this as a medium priority, because I do think
Yeah.
structure needs to be in place, because we want to kind of hit the ground running at the new center
Yep.
with an expectation that when you come to a big program, you're going to get a little survey at the end of it. Like, we want to start setting good habits,
Yeah.
right? Or like, you're gonna walk out the door and before you leave, you have to either put a green card or a red card into a box or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the method is.
Yeah.
I do think we want to spend some time working on that.
All right, so who would like to, from the
no,
board,
I'll put that.
that Dennis is gonna take that?
So Katie, put on your academic hat for a minute,
Mhm.
assuming it still fits.
What?
Are there tools for formalizing that kind of evaluation? That is, how do you measure bang for the bucks, to be crass about it? Are there formal tools available? I mean, right now, when I think
Yes.
about it, I simply think how much attendance, cost per attendee,
Oh, you would
and
have-
kind of like a subjective, did you enjoy the program or not?
So I think those right there encapsulate the three most common forms of program evaluation.
Right.
But all you would have to do, you wouldn't even have to use AI. All you'd have to do is Google program evaluation techniques in a community setting, and we would find all the things that we needed. We would not need to recreate the wheel at all. It would just be a matter of deciding these are the tools we want to use, both amongst staff, amongst the director, amongst users, and then formalizing that into a plan and putting it into place.
Yeah, because I think maybe to Marge's point, or was it Mary's, with the new center, I think it's going to be important for us to show to the community that the money is well spent, and that the bang for the buck that we're getting in terms of improved outcomes for health, decreased social isolation,
Mhm.
less depression, improved nutrition,
Yeah.
fewer falls, all of those measures, to the extent that we can kind of, I guess it was Katie's point, and at the start, set the expectations for the people who are coming to the new center. Like, this is what we hope you get out of it, and this is how you can help us understand that better.
Right.
So, all right,
Yep.
yeah, I'll work
It's
with that.
it's a big undertaking, and it's something that may grow and shift over time. But this is something I feel like we've got about a year to get right. And then it would be great to be able to show that, only half of the people enjoyed the music program today, the music program during lunch. I'd be willing to bet you only half of them enjoyed it.
Mary Ellen said it was pretty good.
She came up during Elvis Presley song.
Yeah.
She likes Elvis.
But that's not to say she still couldn't hear it,
Right.
so
Well, she had the door closed.
you can still hear it.
But I guess what I'm saying is, that would be interesting to see. So you could say, if we can get some things in place now, you can say, well, only half of people enjoyed the program today. if you do a satisfaction survey as people are listening to it, right? And then you hope to say in the new building, actually, now it's like 90% of people said they enjoyed it because, we weren't right on top of each other and it could happen a few minutes later and the acoustics fit the space and all those things.
Do you think next time, if you put, did you enjoy this? Yes or no at the table?
Right, but
Because so many get up and left.
but that's the point. That's the point that I'm making, is
Yeah.
that we have no formal evaluation. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't need to be a 12-page document
Yeah.
about it, but it's some form of feedback.
Mhm.
And how does that tie into number 18 or out of standard
number
A, which was the satisfaction survey for center users? Is
So-
that, are you
so
looking at them
that's-
as the same? You looking at them as different?
Okay.
Could it be the
All right.
same?
So they would be related. So I think line 18 there was more like a large survey.
Mhm.
So the last I did a large survey was right when I started. And so the newsletter went out to and now, I'd say that number is closer to 600 plus.
All right.
So, and you really rarely have more than a 10 to 15. So it's been a long time since I've stuffed the newsletter with something and said, return this, fill this out and return it.
But your annual in-person gathering here, you do on Saturdays, captures some of that.
Right. So when you're talking about a program evaluation plan, the listening session is one piece of it. So you're saying, okay, here's the informal qualitative part, but to get a quantitative thing that I could score on a scale of 1 to 5 and compile data and come out with, hard data, you need the other ones. Yeah.
All right.
So yes, they're related.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the budget review every 6 months, I think we have done.
Yep,
I think we've said we were gonna do it.
quarterly.
No, we're gonna do that one every 6 months. Were we doing like? Were we doing like May or April?
Hmm.
April and November or
So
something?
6 months, when does the budget year start?
July 1st.
Yeah, so that's 7.
So December.
December.
So I think it would be December and June, or did you want to do it so that it's off?
So if you guys want, so January, I will give you calendar year summary statistics. So, I've done those in January
Yeah.
and then in August, so on the calendar year and on the fiscal year.
Okay.
So, if we could just stagger it off of that, that would be great.
Yeah, I
Otherwise,
think
it's gonna be
that's what we
really-
were talking about. So we're talking about doing, more of that October, May type of deal. So you're still not right on the year end, but you're close enough to know what, I think we had talked about it. I just don't have it down anymore. What do you,
I don't know if I.
all right. Well, we'll figure that out, but it's in place, so we'll work on that one. So the next one is,
I would suggest December as halfway through and May,
Okay.
so,
December and May. All right, perfect.
because it's obviously over in June, so that would give you basically 7 weeks before the end of the fiscal year in May. If I
Alright.
present it to you that second of May.
So we really already sort of did the next one, which was the emergency management plan. That's really more six plus months.
What is DRBC?
Okay, DR is disaster recovery and BC is business continuity.
No.
So they're different things. I can recover from it, but how do I continue my business in the same?
Yeah.
So those are terminologies that I've always used. This emergency management plan is the same.
So we have an emergency management plan as far as like a major snow event. We have that in place. But, I guess like that's technically disaster recovery, I
Yep.
think. But business continuity, I have informal tools for that, but it's not formalized.
Yeah. So that would all be part of that emergency management, but that would be more 6 months out. That doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So
It's wherever you guys want to put it.
I mean, I think the new building is going to change that.
Well, that's what I figured, trying to,
Yeah, it's gonna completely redo.
Yeah, because, and it might be broader there too, with everything that's gonna be there.
Yeah.
What does everybody think about demographics? Cheryl, what do you think about demographics?
I'm curious as to, is it just how we define who can utilize the center or who participates?
No, my recollection of that from the section in the book was here at the senior center resemble what the town's demographic is of that
Right,
population.
do we match like?
Yeah. Yeah, and then some of that information may then feed other things. How do we get there?
Yeah, I'd be happy to work on that.
Yeah, and I think what we had concluded
Do we
is,
need a policy? We don't have a policy
All
as
right,
it
so what do you
stands.
think for a timeline? No, and I think we're also trying to figure out what it is. Am I correct?
Yeah.
That's probably, but that's not it's a high priority, but more of a medium, would you say, Katie? Would you say more of a medium?
yeah, because I mean, I think you could look at that in stages as
Yeah.
identifying what is the demographic makeup of the town and the older adults in
In the
town,
town.
right? Because we don't have a lot of diversity in our current current users. So we would have to identify what the demographic is in the town and specifically the older adults in town. And then whether or not who we're serving matches that. And then the next one is, you're probably not going to be able to actually determine that beyond anecdotally because I don't collect hardly any demographic information. And so then the next part will be, how do we start collecting that information?
Yeah, but I think that's probably a medium based on the number amount of work and long time.
And it would be more impactful, I mean, urgently impactful if we lived in a really diverse community where, for example, are we providing meals that meet the dietary traditions of a specific ethnic group? Are we providing activities that would attract people of culturally diverse or language specific populations? I don't know. Does this town have what the ethnic makeup of the town is that we would be trying to accommodate at the center and improve outreach to them? That's why I think demographics is important.
Yeah, that's on the about Ayer section or on the economic and community development page. I have seen it before. I couldn't cite the statistics.
Is that just on residents? That's not necessarily on senior residents, though, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd have to pull that out. Thank you for taking that on, Cheryl.
No
What about a
worries.
satisfaction survey to center users? Is that something that, and yes, it's tied up into the other one, I realize that.
Yeah.
But is that something that could start sooner rather than later without too much interruption? Is it worth it? I'm trying to.
I think we would want to have at least some preliminary understanding of what we would be asking and what we would be doing with that data and how it fits into the broader evaluation plan, because there are a ton of effort to creating a survey is not that much effort, but entering data and compiling it into something meaningful is what takes a lot of time. And because of this group, it's less likely to be like a Survey Monkey tool that is going to tabulate it for you.
Well, we have those laptops, so could that be something that's set up to take that information into that?
You could, but then you're going to have to assign a person to do that with each person.
With them.
There will be amongst my current users,
Okay.
yes, you could put it out to the community that way, but amongst the current users, no.
Right. Is
Might
there,
be two.
There's more than two, but it's not the majority.
I can think of three that are proficient.
all right,
So yes, but I think as part of a medium priority, I definitely,
there's 6 months plus.
well, whatever you put on the evaluation plan, I thought that was medium.
Okay.
3 to 6 months.
All right, so you can tie those together, okay? All right, civilization questionnaire. That is probably something that is,
And the questionnaire would go to who?
well, it's all part of the whole. Right,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think that's important to understand who is,
Right, but it links,
but anyway,
links
so,
to the earlier one about,
well, yeah, 'cause we have that.
Yeah.
So I think
It
some of it
goes
was
back
just where everything
to-
came from, because at number 1 or 2 was that social isolation
Right,
identification. So
right,
once we identify them,
right.
Location and ID and.
so I could,
Understood.
and that we could put that one underneath, so I can move that one to that locating and
Mhm.
identifying.
And I
Like
think
the
the interesting piece there would be to fold that into a larger satisfaction, a larger user survey, not
Yeah.
necessarily just on satisfaction, but a larger user survey. Because it would be really interesting to see if people who are regular senior center users feel less socially isolated than, for example, the Board of Health just worked with Gianna 9 to do that large scale across the 11 towns, social isolation.
Okay,
And, they did a bunch of different risk factors, but we could compare, and ideally, you'd want to end up saying that people who are using the center are feel less
so
self-report,
somebody
feeling
just
less
did that
socially.
type of survey?
Yeah, there was a huge survey that was done across, it was
All these,
all of those towns, yeah.
did you get, or could you get the results from that?
Yeah,
Would that
yeah.
help?
Yeah,
That might be interesting to see,
let me just look and see.
just, more out of curiosity.
Let me see if I can find it real quickly. Where would I have?
Especially since that has been so, that social isolation has been such a, I guess, topic for us in some respects.
Updates.
I'll find it,
Okay.
because I don't see
That would be
it
great.
right here.
That would be great. Thank you.
Maybe this is it, hang on. Please move this window away from the shared application, I don't know what that means.
All of it seems to be. Huh. Oh, that's got a lot of good information in it.
Yeah.
is this on the town's website?
No, I don't think so.
How is it distributed?
You probably got this. It was in that group with the Gianna 9.
Oh, Channel 9.
Oh, okay.
So healthcare services for older adults.
Beachfront,
Dental care, affordable housing.
There's a lot of great information in that.
Right. It was a big survey, and we did the survey here as well. Yeah, I mean, we could go through this at a different time.
Yeah.
But, so, I can send that to the group.
That'd be great. Thank you, Katie. So we can hold off on that one too. The renting of space, which is the last one, was sort of just on there. I think more as a placeholder. But I mean, that doesn't.
Oh, renting the space to someone or renting?
I think
space
it's
from someone.
new. I think it was renting the new facility, space was rented out, what would need to be considered. So it's
Oh,
found
for the
out.
new one.
But
Right,
So
yeah,
I think that's just more on there as a placeholder.
I see.
because that was the accreditation required that there was a policy for community use of the space.
I see.
And I had sense of the multipurpose room in the new senior center would fall under, the town already has like a large event reservation policy
Hmm.
for the upstairs at town hall, for Peroni Park, for any of the meeting one form that you fill out for a large event. So I assume we're gonna fall into that, but that was part of the
I see.
figuring out the specifics of it relative to the building.
So I'll update the list and I will get it back to everybody. So please review when you get it to make sure I didn't misassign something to somebody. There might be some things that need some names next to it, so feel free to grab one if it's something that
I
will.
can bring everything else, sure. I don't mind working on the survey,
All right. All right, so,
satisfaction survey.
okay, so once you
I
get
mean,
that, we
I'm
can
here,
do
right?
those.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the director's report.
Mm.
Thank you for doing that. That was helpful. To those.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, sorry, I don't have the director's report printed in front of me, so I'm gonna look at it.
Oh, do you want?
Oh, yeah, look, there we go.
Yeah.
You guys have- Okay.
I'll ask you, you shall receive, Kayla.
All right, so it was a fairly typical month in terms of participation. We had 156 older adults come, a total of 614 times to programs. That does not count the Meals on Wheels or transportation. That's just for the programs here, or the social services, but that's programs. We were busy, with outreach. 31 older adults were seen a total of 61 times in March. And keeping in mind that there are 20 work days in a month, seeing 61 clients over 20 days. It's, in addition to all the other things we do, it's a full case load. We are bringing in a lot more new clients that way than we are for lunches or programs, right now. Suggestion box was empty, and, outreach is still working on the social media series targeted towards older adults. No updates on that. In terms of meals, 73 older adults received a total of 299 meals. So just to give you an idea, there's, a certain set of people who come every day, and then there's a certain set of people who come once a week because they come because they want to have lunch and then play Mexican Train, or they come for lunch and a program on a specific day. And then there's some people who come only for special events. There's some people who just come because they like the food that's happening. So though we have a 24 seat dining room, it's not the same 24 people sitting in those seats every day. There's 73 people who sat in those 24 seats. 112 meals were delivered to 9 Meals on Wheels clients. That headcount continues to fall. It's an ongoing service delivery issue that I feel very frustrated about, but I don't know how to impact that.
So, I'm sorry, so the Meals on Wheels,
Are the home delivered meals. Right.
right, so in the town of Ayer, you had 9 clients who each, average 10 or 12 meals a month,
Mhm.
about 3 meals a week.
Mhm.
But we don't know who's on the waiting list or who is not receiving them.
So,
I guess, what's the nature of your frustration and
so when I first started here, that number was like 35.
Wow.
clients? Yeah,
Clients, yep. And I don't think that there are a quarter of the people who need them now. I think there was a little bit of inflation of those numbers because they were being more lenient with with the criteria during COVID so that people could stay safe. But I would say, that number could easily be double what it is right now. The problem is that there's a shortfall in funding. And so my understanding, I'm like, I want to say my understanding in a public meeting, but my understanding is it used to be in the past that I could have someone sit in my office and we would call to mock and do an intake interview that takes about 10 minutes. And it goes through the criteria for qualifying for Meals on Wheels. And I could help a client self-enroll in Meals on Wheels. And as long as they met the criteria, they could sign up for it. That is a call that's not even worth making now because basically no one that I call with is getting approved for the program, even though they meet the criteria.
And
Is that
the
because-
criteria that you cite is from where? How do you know?
From MOP. So
So mock on its website has published criteria about
yes,
equality.
I don't know if they're published or not, but the idea is that you have to have significant difficulty shopping for food, preparing food, or there's a third one. Cheryl, am I missing the third one? You have to have significant trouble shopping, like getting to a grocery.
Is there an income cutoff, Katie?
So not through Meals on Wheels, because there's a suggested donation that goes with it, and that is on a sliding scale.
Okay.
But then,
So Meals on
Other-
Wheels is not income driven.
Two of them.
to the best of my knowledge, no.
Okay.
So, because it's supposed to be based on your ability
But I don't.
to go out and get the food and to prepare it. So, for example, let's say you have severe arthritis in your hand and you can no longer hold a knife safely to safely chop vegetables, right? Like that's,
Or to safely put something in the oven.
right, or you can't pick up a skillet
Yeah.
anymore, right? So those are part of the criteria. So it's supposed to be functional based rather than income based. So then my second understanding is that because Aging Services of North Central Mass, which is our ASAP, which is income based,
Yeah.
has their own line of funding, MOC cannot turn them down. So their clients go in.
Mhm.
So they're trumping everybody else.
Uh-huh. And yet Aging Services, due to their own lack of funding, people who don't qualify for Aging Services, but meet the functional requirements, right?
Yep.
And so that part is frustrating. And so
Yeah.
then it rolls like,
Sufficient.
I'm talking about like a rolling target here, if
Mhm.
that's the right analogy.
Mhm.
But then sometimes you can't get people into Aging Services because they're so backlogged, even though you meet Aging Services criteria. And Aging Services themselves will say, well, the fastest way to get on our case roll is to report someone through protective. Well, not everything is protective qualified because there's a set of criteria for that too. So it's frustrating for me
For
and
everybody.
outreach staff because you just want to get services for people who need them. And we've talked about whether our department can service people who are on a wait list for these services. But they won't give us the wait list because they say it's HIPAA. And like, this is not medical information.
Mhm.
Well, not only that, but they can,
It's a,
if they were interested in doing that, they could simply ask the person for permission to give you the information. And if the person agreed,
correct,
presumably a resident of Ayer who felt like they needed services,
correct.
then
And I developed a release form that would allow such a thing, and they would not accept it. Actually, I should say Brittany and I together, the
Yeah.
previous social worker and I together worked on that. And
do you have an understanding of the relationship between Aging Services of North Central and MOP? Like, do they talk on a regular basis, compare notes, meet monthly?
I don't know.
Okay.
That I'm not sure about. So I do think
I do think we as a department could play a role in helping people stay afloat while they're on these wait lists. But again, coming back to the organizational capacity right now, because there's so much on my plate that Mary Ellen has, again, 61 visits
Yeah.
in the month of March alone, just on her job.
What's the average amount of time on a visit, do you know?
It really depends. So
Yeah.
sometimes something is fairly easy and straightforward. So let's say someone has a broken EBT card, like a physically broken EBT
Yeah.
card, and they don't know how to get it replaced.
Yep.
So that, if we call at the right time, that could be a 15-minute phone call together. Versus if someone needs assistance with DTA, you're gonna be on the phone for 45 minutes, even if you call in the morning. If you call in the afternoon, it's gonna be like an hour and a half, you're gonna be on hold.
Okay.
Or if I'm helping someone bring their Comcast bill down, that's easily an hour. If it's a family.
Want to come sit with me for a while?
I know, right?
I know.
That's one of my favorite things to do, though, is because I just don't accept all of the runaround that's designed to make you give up and keep your current package. And I'm like,
Yeah.
as I said, when we first started this call, I enjoy that. I get like a little bit of sick pleasure out
I
of that.
want to talk to somebody at Hulu, let me know.
I want a
Yeah.
person.
So, but if you get into something that has family dynamics involved in it, it could easily be 2 hours, right? It just
Okay.
depends upon what the situation is.
Dynamics.
So let's see, transportation, 67 riders, 510 trips. That's, the 510 trips might be a smidge over. We're usually in the upper 400s. So 510 is a little bit of a threshold we just went over. I am currently working with the transportation staff to come up with some metrics for town hall. The town manager's office is supportive of my desire to have a second van in place before we open the new building. But renegotiating a contract with Mart takes time. So I sent the information and some brief rationale to the town manager's office, but I'm also working on a more complete memo with data. So for example, I had one of my drivers look back through the data for the last 2 years, and the hours of 1 to 3 p.m. are actually some of our busiest times.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right, to know when to overlay a second driver and when not to. Evenings are not as busy, but they are critical for specific outings and specific functions. Yeah, so,
Okay.
so we'll work on that.
I think we talked, I mean, this is going back, I think almost a year now, I guess.
Mhm.
But I think it would be great having a second man in place before the new building opens. And have maybe 3 months of being able to kind of refine the route and the times. And get the word out,
Mhm.
so that is. On day one, when the building opens, yeah, I mean, for the first 3 months of the building being open, it'd be great if we weren't scrambling.
Right,
to
there'll be
put in-
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
enough
have
other
enough lead
things to
time
do.
so that we know.
Yep.
Because that's gonna be, I think, even people who ultimately don't turn out to be regular users, there's gonna be a lot of demand in the first 3 to 6 months just to see the new structure, so.
Sure. Let's see, hopefully you guys are still logging your volunteer time. We had 15 volunteers, work a total of 221 hours. That is over $3,000 in value to the town, which is huge. So I'm very, very thankful for our volunteers. We have 2 new volunteers, and as I said before, a couple of people who are in process, who I hope to bring on board. The building committee, there's nothing really interesting to report right now. The value engineering is going to be, the building committee is meeting on Thursday. We'll be finishing up some of the value engineering conversation. It's really about permitting, environmental permitting, planning board, those sorts of things right now. With the goal of, I believe bidding in August, so groundbreaking in the fall.
Okay.
A lot of factors in flux there, but that's the goal. Let's see. I think that's really everything, for me. Any questions?
So just one thing before we get into that website review, I will not be here at the May meeting. So
I'm sorry, before we get into what we do?
the website content review
Oh, okay.
on the agenda, I will not be here at the May meeting. So we will miss it. I'll get you all the stuff beforehand.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Will you still be able to submit the
Yeah,
agenda and
so send
everything?
me agenda items and those types of things, and I'll make sure they're on there, and I'll get that updated listing to you. and
I'll let
everything.
you know ahead if I'm gonna be 15, maybe out of 10.
Well, that would be.
Not a quorum.
So that,
Yeah, exactly. So
So
the sooner
we'll let
you
you
know on
know,
that one, the
yeah.
better off. And
We are either gone that week or the week before, probably the week
So-
before.
now we are just looking at what the senior center page on the new website looks
Yeah.
like and
Yeah, right.
providing some.
Yep, so,
so circling back to that, Cheryl, I'll definitely let you know as soon as possible,
Mhm.
if there's gonna be no
Perfect.
meeting.
Mhm.
in
Thank
May.
you. Thanks for that. I'll just keep aware of
all
that.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So in the interest of time, because it's 3:30, I'd like to start with your
that's fine.
website.
Mhm.
So there's the Council on Aging Board website, there's the Senior Center website,
I saw.
right? So, and this has always been here, but I can now edit this. So, I couldn't edit it before, I can edit the department.
Both the boards and
And,
the
yeah,
senior centers.
Because I used to only be able to edit my departmental website, but now I can edit this one too. So, I think this first page is supposed to be a pretty standard one, but so you have your contact information, sorry, I don't know how to make that.
Well,
There we
first
go.
thing, there should be, what those dates mean should be specified, expiration or term expiration, or whatever.
Okay.
I think on the contact us, the physical address should be there when it says it's a physical address.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's more of a minor thing, but I don't know what the directory is. Would that be for
I
our
don't know, let's
email?
click it and find out.
oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
so they should be able to email us from there.
But you don't have anything under your directory. So,
So can they email, can you go back one?
Yeah. So the directory is broken, so.
Yeah. But our email should be added to the sideboard.
Well, I
Sidebar.
think just
Well, you mentioned.
turn our names into hyperlinks for email purposes.
Yeah,
Right, so there's, I will inquire with the IT director.
Mhm.
Staff, when you click that, when you have a hyperlink, it fills out, it takes you to the form inquiry and you do a
Yeah.
form inquiry, and then I get an email from website form inquiry. So that the email address is not actually ever displayed anywhere because I think that's a security issue.
Oh, if we ever got,
Right,
okay,
Right,
a
like-
virus in the town,
then I think it's more of like for bots and stuff.
okay,
So
okay.
you have to fill out I can check with John and see if that's still the guiding principle behind that, but certainly the directory is broken, so we'll figure out how they want to handle that.
Mhm.
So,
And the easier, I mean, I know that there's a relationship between ease of use and security concerns, and there's always a trade-off there. I think it would be helpful for the people to be able, now I don't anticipate a deluge of emails from people I don't already know, don't get me wrong, but I think it would be good if the people could email us fairly conveniently.
Yeah.
By clicking on our names.
Yeah, and I'll just follow up with John with that, so. Okay, so in terms of what you have going on here, on the left side for content, you have policies.
Yep.
And that is just a description and a link to something that's gonna take you to the document folder. Let's see if it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there's that.
yeah, it's probably time to review that again.
Yeah,
No,
because we had
that's actually
changed
good.
it a little.
No, that
bit.
was last year. We should
Yes.
review it annually.
I think we had said that was gonna be
We
that
had
was a-
changed. it.
every summer.
Yeah, that went on in April of last year, I noticed, but yeah, that should be like reviewed, like probably like the August time, right?
Yeah, okay. And then you have the standard agendas meeting minutes. So this is a very much a form for the town.
So just, March 19th, that's an incorrect entry, that's a building
Okay,
committee meeting.
yeah,
The March 10th is obviously our March meeting,
Yeah.
and then April, so.
Nice catch, Dennis.
Well, I had seen it,
Supposed
I
to.
saw it last month as
Yeah.
well, and it was, but anyway.
So the minutes are posted only by the town clerk.
Yep.
I can, however, post media, and the policy for the town for website posting, because they have a policy for that, says that the minutes have to be posted before the media can be posted. So once minutes are posted here, like I've gone back, and I'm sure at some point the town clerk might do it, but the town clerk's really focused on what's required for open meeting law.
Yeah.
And so I can go back to APAC's website and take the link and post that media here, but I'm just not supposed to do it until after the minutes are
And
posted.
as a matter of town policy, it is not the case that packet information has to be posted along with the minutes, along with the agenda. But rather, packet information may or may not be posted, depending on the discretion of the.
As it was described to me at the last department head meeting, was that the requirements of the open meeting law really have to do with agendas and minutes. And the packets are for ease of participation by the public, whether they're in person or whether they're online. And so I think that process, because this website, we moved over to this sort of new platform because it has enhanced security that we are really required to have. So, but I think there needs to be a little bit of time to let some of this settle out, because it was a little bit more free form before, and this has different structures to it. So I think they're trying to figure out what's the best structure. So like you cannot add a column to this chart that says packets, because that would be the easiest thing.
So who would I talk to about that?
I think they're already aware of it and already trying to work through it. I mean, that's obviously an IT, it's an IT, it's John, it's an IT thing. So I was playing around with Susan about whether or not I could get the packet included with the agenda. And if we could live link to things, like this is levels of detail that you don't need to focus on, but I've been playing around with it for the building committee, and none of it seems to quite be working right, so.
So, I mean, as a rep, my larger concern is that it seems a little too cute by half to claim open meeting law and transparency when the planning board could have a meeting where they simply post the agenda in a timely way, but all the charts, graphs, maps, relevant bylaws for the public attending would not be available ahead of time. And they would be in compliance with the open meeting law. I mean, that doesn't make much sense to me, but I know that that's beyond the purview.
Right, yeah, that's.
But for our purposes.
But it's still the same with ours, because we're not providing anything on our meeting beforehand other than the agenda.
Right, Well, previously, we would include the packet, you know, whatever, like drafts of some documents, or
Mhm.
I would, if I had kept up with it, the meeting minutes would have been, you know, the drafts of meeting minutes and that kind of thing. But for our purposes going forward, for posting the minutes, I will simply include whatever packet information, in this, most likely the director's report, just as part of the minutes, and it will be posted there
After the fact.
after
Yep.
the fact.
Yep.
Prior to the meeting, for our, and again, just given the nature of our committee, it doesn't raise a whole lot of red flags for me. But I can see where for substantially other committees, it would be a huge.
So it's not that you can't post documents. So, I don't know where the
I mean,
documents.
post
center
documents
is.
on this page as part of the minutes and past.
So see, let me go to the building committee, right? So, actually, hang on, let me go back to on the left side here, you do not have a tab labeled documents.
Sure.
Right? But in comparison, I'll just pick the other one that I'm involved with. So over here, documents. So you guys could say, I would like a document tab over here, and then that would allow me to put up the director's report, and you could say to me, can you load this up in the documents? And then they're there. It's not the same as it used to be like the calendar page where the agenda and the packet was right there together. We can still do it in a segmented way through adding
What
documents.
does it look like?
Can
in
I
there?
ask a
So we-
question, Katie?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think the documents is excellent. Could we also have a category for forms? For example, if someone was applying to be a director, if we had a vacancy, they could fill out that form through the web page, and then all of the current directors should see who is applying. Or I'm trying to think of other forms, application forms for whatever for the board.
Right.
Just to have that capacity, even if we don't use it all the time. So we could have documents and then forms that could be filled in and then submitted and uploaded back to the site.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we knew what those forms would be and they were within the purview of the COA board, then yes. So in terms of documents, this is what this is text that I edit, and it's just done by date of the meeting. So there's a whole year of building committee documents missing that I've been
That's fine.
assured is going to be restored. So,
So are those all the attachments that are? in
those
the
are
packet?
essentially the packet. So
Okay.
think of documents here. These are the packets for every single one of the meetings that we've had. But the only place where it used to be agendas and packets were posted together. The only place you can get that now is,
You can't get the agenda going in there?
so here, right, is in the calendar. If you click from the calendar view, it would show you, so this takes you to a calendar view. And so you've got not the agenda, no, you have the agenda and the documents posted. So again, the town is trying to figure this out, but whereas it was sort of a free form page where you could post those things together, now it's siloed. This is the agenda center. This is the document center. This is the calendar center. So each of the functions of the website is much more structured, but they don't overlay
So,
on top of each other in the seamless kind of way that it did before.
so the concern is, and specifically for us, although I suspect it applies to all departments, is how are they going to, or how are we going to manage version control so that the director's report that I attach to the back of the minutes that is then submitted as the
Mhm.
director's report for the month is identical with the director's report that you have posted to the documents page, or am I not? And you know, if there was some, and again, for us, if there are some minor edits, no harm, no foul.
Right. So that's getting really specific, but
It should be one or the other, shouldn't it?
well, I think that's what the town is trying to figure out right now, is that in order to put a document on, it gets loaded into the document center and then it's linked into other pages of the website.
Right.
But because that is still all being sorted out, the workaround to it is to scan it in there.
Right.
So it
Okay.
would appear as a scanned version of that document with the minutes. But if we add a documents page, we would upload it. I would upload it to the document center and then link it into the documents page.
So
Right.
are you suggesting we should wait until the town comes up with what they're looking for the procedure to be or the policy to be, or is it still every man for himself?
I mean, I think, for version control is,
For our purpose, we're going back to what we talked about at the meetings on that date.
So are that,
So, but do we want to be organized by meeting?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'd prefer to see the agenda in one place and the documents in another.
And
Because sometimes because that way they could just go in and look at each individual document versus having to look at the whole agenda or whatever and go through for it. And hey, Cheryl, are you still okay? I notice it's 3:45.
Still here, still attentive. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, and that's fine.
All right, thank you.
Directed documents are fine.
So I think at least a start would be to add a document tab there. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, can you do that or does that have to be requested from?
No, I can do that.
All right.
Okay, so in terms of forms, I'm struggling to think about a form that falls under the COA board. So I'm going to think about that for a little bit. Are there other things
Just in
that,
case we have one in the future, it would be nice to have that capacity.
I think for the public, well, as we discussed previously, having our emails available so people can email us, or maybe having a form where it's emailed to the chair, the chair can pick it up in her email. And it kind of goes to the point earlier from Barbara about giving the public a way to reach out to us.
Right.
Excluding.
Yeah.
You, the Senate.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
to the extent that the public sees us as available to them to respond to anything, it would be good.
So let's look at other boards and committees. So if we look at Conservation Commission, for example, when you go to theirs, they have a meeting schedule, they have other documents up here, right? They have different things here, or let's see.
to put on meeting schedule.
They look like they have their act together in the conservation board.
I think part of it's because of what they do. Right?
So Parks and Rec has hiking opportunities, the park facility use form, they have their programs, right? This is more of there's a Parks and Rec board, but and then there's the Parks and Rec department, right? So, but by comparison, so if you, wrong one. If you come to the senior center, so again, I'm working on people understanding that I am not the Council on Aging, you are, but there's a common vernacular for that. So this first one links over to your page. This one, so I've got my mission. I guess I do have a mission up here. I've got my staff and everybody is, and I'm missing Donna here. But then I have more content on my page. So then I've got the links of interest related to these broader categories, and each of them is linked within it. So it's just some of our most common things. I have got the van schedule.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and I can take that down now. Right, so I need to go through some of mine. Then I have a page for the newsletter and where the newsletter is available. I have senior center
Is the
updates.
newsletter up, or is it just?
Do it.
So you don't keep back copies of it up? It's all.
I do. So what's funny is, this is something that changed
Okay.
from the old website to the new website. So I used to just have a list at the top,
Yeah.
right? But now it is just this month's newsletter. But if
Okay.
I went to, I don't even know how to get to the agenda center. Somewhere on this website.
No, I
is-
think about air and then
It's
all the way to the bottom.
Yeah,
No, on the page about air, click on about air and then go all the way to the bottom. Oh. There you go, contains amendments. That what you're looking for?
No, it's actually the document center. Forms and documents. So if I went to forms and documents and then to council on aging. Oh, that's not even right.
Oh,
Senior citizen water and sewer bills?
You didn't know
No, I'm aware of
Okay.
that.
Katie, you just answered my question. There is a place on this website to upload forms, and there it is. Whether it's forms for whatever department, you go to that. So we could direct people if there was a form that we needed at some point. For example, in the future, if we do have a form for people to apply to rent out the senior center, that would theoretically be posted here.
yeah.
So I know where it is when I logged in as myself. I'm just trying to figure out where,
that? As a lowly citizen of the
as
town.
a citizen. So
So-
document,
I think all the previous newsletters should be available from the senior center page.
I don't disagree.
I'm just saying that's not the way the website is
No, I
structured now.
understand.
So, okay, so I have no document center, so it must be someplace off the main part of the website. So here, if I went to departments and then Council on Aging Senior Center, and then 2025, I can look at all the newsletters. To me, like I said, the town's working this out because this is very siloed.
Yeah.
Agendas are in agenda center, documents are in document center. They're not as intuitive to the public. It's much more organized from a organizational perspective.
Yeah.
But it's less user friendly, and
So-
everybody is aware of that, believe me. Everybody at town hall is aware
So
of
if
that.
you
And
clicked one of those months,
so
Yeah.
if I click 2025, it,
just automatically loads up the newsletter. It should say newsletter, I'm sorry, and whether,
but it should now, because it used to be on the newsletter,
Okay.
and it used to say 2025 longevity ledgers, right? But now,
okay, okay.
now it's in a document center. And so I can go back and edit all those tags that are on it one by one for the last 5 years. So 60 of them, I can edit those titles. I have other things that are
It's not worth
priority.
your time.
So, so what I wanted to largely focus on today is what's on yours. And so I've got a list here of things that you'd like to see,
Yeah,
but in addition to what's here, are there other things that you would like to see? And you don't have to have an answer right now. Give some thought to what else you'd like to see there.
I think that might make a suggestion that we all take a look at other pages in
Yeah,
the town, but maybe also take a look at some of the surrounding towns and see
yeah, yeah.
see what some of them may have on it.
That's where
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yep.
And some towns may have,
It's a great
I
suggestion.
think most towns are gonna have their COA board siloed from
Or
their
just- yeah.
senior center department, right? And so
Yeah.
there's, when you click on this,
Now, when
you're
you
gonna
click
go
on that-
over there,
When you click on that phone in red,
Mm-hmm.
or over here.
yeah, what does that do?
Calls.
It's asking me if I wanna pick an app to call you with.
To call who?
At the senior
that
center.
Oh, senior center,
That's what they will do anytime
Not,
you,
oh, that's a, not,
anytime you-
not the COAC.
yeah,
So,
This is our-
anytime you click a number, we'll ask.
Hang on,
Can you
let me go back,
delete-
let me go back to you guys.
Yeah.
So you
So,
do not have you do have, it's for here, yeah.
Senior center.
so. And again, just people talking here and having a small private conversation.
That's in a public open meeting, Dennis. That's
Do we wanna? All right, so we are the Council on Aging Board of Directors.
Mhm.
Do you, from your page, wanna delete Council on Aging and just have Senior Center as
Yes.
the take?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes,
And why have you not done so?
because I did not previously have control. Well, actually, I did there. I didn't have it in the drop-down menu. I don't actually even know if I can, in the drop-down menu, if I can edit that. That's a good question. If I can edit what's right here.
See, I
Because that
think,
should really say senior center and then be down here.
So, okay, so Parks and Rec has Park and Rec Committee and Parks and Rec Department.
Right,
Yeah.
so Parks and Rec is Sarah. And I think she has one
Okay.
other person, maybe not. So this is, and then she also has. She's kind of, that's a really interesting, because she doesn't have a link over to her board. So she's got her members here,
Yeah,
right? And I was in departments for that, right? So the Parks and Rec department. And then I think if you go to programs, you're gonna leave and go to my rec. So they've got a lot more information over here.
But
Versus,
but
versus let's go to board and
so, but if
committee.
that's the case, if you had like My Senior Center online, that's what that link would take me through, correct? If it was that type of version.
If it was that kind of
Yeah.
thing, yeah. So then Parks and Rec, really this first page is the same for the
Yeah.
Parks and Rec. That's the same. Actually, this is the same. It's the complete, just is the
Yeah.
duplicate page. So you could get to the same place from Parks and Rec, board and committee, or the department. It's the same place.
What about the library? Is that the same?
So if I look at the library, I'm gonna go to the library's external site,
They are
right?
totally.
But if I go.
which is not part of the town's.
Right, but if I go to the board. Then I've got library trustees. And they do appear
Yeah.
then to be, I mean, I know they're not a town board in the same way, but they just have agendas and minutes.
Yeah.
So each of the boards and committees plays a different role relative to their professional staff. That's, sometimes you see that in appointed versus elected boards. So I think the main takeaway from this is, I don't think you're bound by every board and committee having the same thing on their website. I think you should think about
What works for us?
what works for you guys, and then we can add things to this left toolbar.
My
And-
only comment is that a lot of times that people are looking, they might just hit Council of on Aging,
Right,
Because it comes first in the alphabet.
and then,
I think as long as you can flip between the two,
right,
I don't,
yeah, and you can.
and
It's
you
right here.
can. Right, like the senior center website, and as long as you're
And
in
I-
the senior center, it can go back
Yeah,
to.
you have to know, is the thing I'm interested in, is it a board and committee or is it a department?
is it going to bother you
But
Yeah, and I think that
if we're there?
if you go to your Council on Aging Senior Center,
Mhm.
so I would like that to just say senior
but
center.
also
Okay.
there, it should just say Senior
Yeah,
Center.
this I can change, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to, I'm not sure, I have not tried to edit anything in the drop down menu.
So then the boards and committee would be us, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
So it's more delineated.
Yeah.
They have kept Council on Aging in the past because the omnibus budget says COA. the omnibus budget
Wow.
should also say senior
Mhm.
center,
Yes.
whatever. Is this, it's like a vestigial tale of like the way things used to be run. So,
Mhm.
I mean, so the other thing to consider, and this is going to open up a can of worms, and I'm not going. To what extent should, in this particular case, Mary be able to control the content of the senior center? I mean, the Council on Aging Board of Directors website.
I think they should be able to make a request to somebody, but I don't think they should let in
Well,
a non.
I don't think.
No. That is appointed chairs
No.
of various volunteer
No.
committees should be able to edit.
No,
the
because you have no idea what their skills are.
Right,
You also have no idea is how they're gonna access that site or what they're going to do with it. I
right.
think that just opens up another can of worms. It should be somebody who is accountable in some way, shape or form from the town and to the town.
Well, aren't we?
Or
Not on a financial basis, for
My-
reality. And they don't pay me. If
I
I,
did my own websites in school,
Yeah,
but somebody else who comes in term might not have any skills.
I don't think that where it's a public facing document like that, that's representing the town that,
Right, I don't think we
I don't think it
should
should.
say
What are your
anybody
thoughts
who's
on that,
chair
Kate?
should be doing it.
I just think the underlying structure of it is more complex
Yeah.
than
Right,
most people are gonna wanna fool with, and
Yeah.
because
right,
a board chair could change every single year.
Yeah.
and it should.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that's something I can certainly just facilitate.
Mhm.
I think so. I think the board chairs ought to be able to request a change made to their page.
And have confidence that it will be honored, right?
Yeah, by IT, but I don't think that.
Yep.
There's
There's already a mistake, 18 Pond Street rear. REA. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll fix that.
No, and that wasn't
I
on
just
the other
got it.
page either.
So I'm on the senior centers
Oh,
page
page,
now,
Yeah,
and so you guys,
yeah,
um,
sorry.
no,
It's perfect. Yeah, I think.
yeah, but you don't
that's-
have 18 Pond Street here.
We don't
Right.
have.
That's what I'm saying, is I think there are some things that, especially as it pertains to your page,
Mhm.
that have never been edited by me,
Mhm.
that now I can edit it. Why don't we make it as beefy or not beefy as you would like it to be?
Yeah.
And then there are errors with the way things moved over that I
Yeah.
need to fix on my
We
side
can, we
too.
can.
But
do
I
that.
think we all should look at it and,
And then we can talk about.
Right.
What types of things we want to see or how we want that
yeah,
page to look or not look.
yep.
Dennis? Cheryl, what are your thoughts?
I think it looks great. My only criticism is someone with very limited vision. That all of these pages, the font and the size, I'm sure you can increase them. I'm not on the site now, but it's really hard. It's-
There we go. So
Right.
if I click that accessibility options,
Oh,
I
much
can
better.
switch to look.
Much
text.
better. Yep. Perfect.
But
So they-
each individual person has to do that on their own?
So you would set the way you would view it,
Right.
based on your device.
But that might throw you off down that,
Other
Yeah.
question that I have, is there a button where you can change the language? Google Translate or whatever that would change the language from English to Spanish, for example, or English to French or English to Brazilian Portuguese.
I think it would depend on which browser you were using. If you're
No, I meant on the
using
website itself. When I did the Spanish American Center site, we had a Google Translate button. We could translate into 26 different languages. As long as it wasn't a JPEG file, if it was a regular text file, it would translate it. And I didn't look
I
very
don't see that.
in depth. I don't see it either. So I didn't know
my
if they
only
could.
comment on that, we did that at school and we
Right.
ended up going from an English school to a Portuguese school.
Nothing wrong with that in my book. Whatever whatever,
Well,
and then you can
do we
toggle
all-
back. You can toggle back
That's
to English.
outside the-
Yeah.
So each
That's
unit,
outside the scope of our meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, so I hear you. So that's it. So Cheryl, if you are on, the website like this, do you see the bottom right hand here where you can hit the accessibility?
Mhm.
There's a place to report an accessibility issue right
Oh,
here, and
cool.
that,
excellent.
I don't know who to, I presume that goes to the IT director.
Sure.
So that might be a good place to put in that
Perfect.
So,
request.
so the IT director is the webmaster.
Correct.
Correct.
He is the web, and the network manager or network.
Right.
All right.
Now,
But it's hosted.
the button I was talking about is so say you spoke Portuguese and you got to the site. If there was an embedded Google Translate, you just click it and the whole page, if it was a text file, would translate. But it doesn't stay that way. I mean, the next user would come in and see it in its primary language, which would be English. It's just an accessibility, as Katie is saying, it's
Right.
accessibility.
Yeah, I
issue.
don't see
And if
it.
I'm
So
doing
when I click-
demographics, if I'm doing demographics for the report, I'm going to be looking at what the languages spoken in town are to make some suggestions.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because theoretically, anything that we print or anything that we post, our newsletter, if there's a certain percentage of people in town that are non-English speaking or limited English proficiency, then maybe we can think, oh, that's nice. That contrast that you just had, how did you do that?
yeah, so I'm in that, I pushed the
Yeah.
accessibility button, and then there was
Boy, I could really,
desaturate.
that's really nice for me. I mean, for my, I have visual field deficits. That's really helpful with a dark
Do you like
background.
this in PQ?
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
That's great. Yeah, so then there's, yeah, so
Mhm.
there's all these different versions of it. This is like the iPhone dark mode, which is my
Yeah.
preference.
A lot of people like the blue with the.
So if I go back
Mm.
just to, wait a minute. Then
That's
we
like
can
my
do a
finger.
color shift, depending on if you're colorblind, we can
Yeah.
shift
Mhm.
through those.
Very nice.
Animation. What are we animating?
If you had a picture, you could have somebody dancing.
Font. Oh, we can change my font,
Mhm.
so you can, depending on what
Oh,
you can.
nice.
Right.
I mean, and this is just for the viewer viewing it.
Yeah,
But if you had an image in there and you wanted to
but you probably have to go in. Could you do it?
Okay.
You probably have to go
Okay,
in.
can we move
Oh.
on to?
yeah,
So, in some respects, okay, that accessibility, should there be something out there or
oh, you
someplace we
had
put
translate to
something
English there.
where,
It was down, oh, it was,
was it in that accessibility?
no, it was in that,
So I guess is for people, I suppose, to let people know that that's there and how to
Yeah.
do it. Is that
Okay.
something
yeah,
that,
but no, I'll,
and I don't know,
but I did see it.
people who, is that person with a check mark a common accessibility button? I don't know. Or, or no,
Yeah,
letting people
yeah, I'm not
know
sure.
if you've got vision, I can't read the things. Oh, but there isn't an area there for you to change it.
Okay.
Is the underlying structure and the linking,
Mhm.
is the webmaster? That is there are all the changes that is, once a week, he goes in and, well, during the week, he compiles suggestions, requests, mistakes, da.
Mhm.
And then one day a week, or one day or 2 weeks, he goes in and he makes the changes and he alters the link and he kind of redesigns things and sets it up in a new way. And then takes in more suggestions, and then, or is it on an ongoing basis, every day he may or may not change things depending on how that is, it would seem to me that it would be easier and a more formal process for him to take in all the information, the request, we want it, and then once every two, so that.
I don't know how he manages his workflow, and it would vary by department. So for example, I don't ask John to make any changes for me.
Right.
I go in and make the changes on demand as needed. Right, like I had to learn the new format.
My point is that if he makes changes that move your page or alter links to your page or alter the look and feel of the page, he can do that.
Yes, he can, but
his changes trump your changes, as they should.
right, but again, so I think there are some department heads who are less comfortable with website design or whatever. And so they may be submitting all of those changes to the IT director, and I don't know how he prioritizes or schedules those things. For the department heads that are comfortable with doing it themselves, they're doing it themselves. I can't imagine a situation in which there would be a wholesale change made at this point without me knowing about it, without me being able to have a conversation with him. So I don't think I don't know that that's a real concern, I guess is.
Well, my concern is that for the people who are using the website,
right,
what level of reliability is there from day to day, week to week, that when I clicked here, I used to be able to get there. Now, when I click here, I can't get there because,
right.
And at what point is the public kind of comfortable with the settled design of the website or not? And again, I'm not implying that should have been settled or has to be settled now.
Right.
But knowing when when you've reached the settled point.
Right. I don't have a good answer for you because, obviously there was a huge shift from the old website to the new website. But like, let's say you're shopping on Amazon and you're getting a delivery. Amazon can change their website whenever they want. They don't need to tell you, nor do they need to allow you to get comfortable or any of those things. They just make those changes.
And it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And it makes me distrust Amazon, and it makes me more likely to shop somewhere else, which is not something that you would want from a town website. Right?
Sure.
Right.
I mean,
I think we all just made a huge shift from the old website to the new website. I mean, I found the meeting agendas and the links easier on the new one today than I did on the old one. Just saying. I think it's very good.
Yeah, I mean,
and people view information and sort information very differently. So I think what's easier for one person and harder for another, like I want it all in one place. And yet if it makes methodical sense, even if it's separate, it might work better with someone else's way they process information. One's not right or wrong, they're just different. So I think the biggest change is already over. And then it will be how quickly are you able to get used to the new setup?
So I think also too, it's just, they're still probably going through to figure out what's missing or what needs to be done or
Yes,
added.
that's gonna be a multi-month process.
Yeah.
It is,
that-
it
And I
was
think
not,
that's sort of probably
was-
where some.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was not
that's
a,
that's the genesis of the question. That is, at what point do the people know we have the finished product? And again, I understand that it is an ever evolving thing.
right, it changes every day because people are posting new agendas every day.
Right, but the form and the function and where things are linked and how the structure of the pages is set up, that shouldn't change very frequently.
No. So
The content on each individual page can certainly change,
right,
hourly perhaps if necessary.
But we're on.
Feel your anxiety, Dennis. When I logged on, I thought, oh no, this is a new website. How am I going to find the email login? So the little voice of course I found it. I found it, but I was worried because it was a new, visual. But yeah, visual. Oh, you just lost the feed.
You get, can you still see us, Cheryl, or can you hear
I can
us?
hear you. I can hear you, but I can't see you. So
Okay, sorry. No, that's all right. I just,
Did I unplug the wrong thing?
I didn't mean to, the house been unplugged.
at this point, the audio is more important, I guess.
Okay, sorry, I think I plugged the owl and I didn't have the laptop plugged
No
in.
worries.
Hang on.
I was just more, didn't want you to, because I know when it gets too low, it kills it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So Madam Chair, could I make a motion to adjourn? Or
All in favor, Cheryl? You in
Aye.
motion to adjourn?
I
Dennis?
aye?
Cheryl, Marge?
Whoever I am, I.
Mary? Yes. All right, thank you all very much, and I will let everybody know
Thank
about
you.
the May 12th meeting as soon as I have all the information.
perfect. Thank you all.